are live, guys. How we doing tonight? I was trying something new out. I found we had this 30-second countdown video. What's going on, everyone? We are on the Last Give podcast, episode 12 of season 4. The pre-season finale, I guess you could say, because we have one more episode next week before we wrap it up. Flash, how we doing tonight?
I'm all right. How about you?
I'm doing good. It's good week, more or less. The 1972 Dolphins. Well, the Dolphins are partying like 1972, I should say. Them 72 Dolphins have the remaining only unbeaten record after the Philadelphia Eagles lost to the Washington Commanders. I won't say Capitals. But, we have the season finale of the Running Gun podcast tomorrow, so you guys don't miss that. We're going to preview the Florida Classic. FAMU making the top 25 in the AP, not AP, but AP FCS rankings. NFL at college football, and then NBA and NHL combined into one. We're going to do a shorter episode tonight. Got stuff to do. But Flash, you got anything to say to the people out there before we get going?
You know what to do. Be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. And I just want to let you guys remember, be a friend, tell a friend, help us out and tell your friends about us so they could come and check us out, hear our takes, and then maybe we could get some good debates or discussion going on this show.
And if you're on the Twitter, come on, join into the YouTube channel and go through in the comment section and put in what you guys got to say so we can get the comments going, because that's where the real stuff begins. That's where the fun begins. Let's hit this intro and get going. Alright, let's get into this kickoff section. You're going to use this... Hey, Flash, which background you use? This one or this one? DOG.
Tommy boy
got his act cleaned up by the Atlantic Ocean. The Bucs got all their issues cleaned up this week, beating out the Seattle Seahawks. And actually not a bad game, considering the field conditions were terrible. And he's heard some Seahawks fans voice their complaints about it. But the Bucs got their act together. First 100-yard rushing game from a running back since Leonard Fournette week 1. So that's things you want to see from Tampa and their offense, even though you don't want to see Leonard Fournette throwing it to 45-year-old Tom Brady on a jump ball. Final score 21-16. Seattle made a late push. What do you think, Flash?
I would call it a late push, but there just wasn't enough time on the clock, when they got things going.
Seattle's run defense is my biggest concern with them. It's been getting gassed all year. It's been really like that, but the offense had been able to keep up on a quick start, but this week didn't have that quick start, and you saw
Well, I'll be honest. The Seahawks has always been a second half team. They always been like that, which is something I noticed when I see them play. I never actually seen them get out like super quickly. They never really pulled away from opponents until, the second half of the game. So, I think now, like when it comes to the Buccaneers, I think opposing team have to playing differently now for these Buccaneers. Now they seem to have their act together. The wide receivers aren't dropping silly balls. And, they finally got a run. Hopefully they got a run game going for the sake of Tampa Bay and Tom Brady fans.
Hopefully Rachaad White starts the rest of the year.
Well, probably.
The fantasy team would greatly appreciate it. And then Flash could probably get a win if he picks up Rachaad White. Just saying. But the Dolphins of the 1972 season are going to be happy this week. Philadelphia Eagles, like we said earlier, lost their first game of the season against the last team to beat a team that had over 8 wins straight, where the Washington Commanders beat the 11-0 Steelers 2 years ago, I believe, and they beat the 8-0 Philadelphia Eagles this year. Yeah, 2020. That was the COVID year. Just making sure. So, Washington is the ultimate trap game. It feels like they came out, played hard. Taylor Heineke is I need to go back and check this, but since the Bears game, I want to say Washington has only lost one game. They've been good. Give me a second. While I pull up the schedule. All right. So, yeah. They beat the Packers 21-23, beat the Colts 17-16, lost to the Vikings 2017 after blowing a fourth quarter lead, and then they beat the Eagles 33-21 with Taylor Heineke. So what would you think the Washington record would be if they had Heineke before Wentz instead of Wentz?
They probably get a solid 4 more games in, I would say, as in the W.
In perspective, they were 2-4 with Carson Wentz. They are 4-1 with Taylor Heineke.
That's what I say about 3 more games. I would say 4 more games. Like teams are still scheming up for Heineke. I feel like
I would have expected them to beat the Lions and the Titans, but I don't know if they beat the Eagles or the Cowboys in the first matchups, because the offensive line was pretty bad against the Eagles that first time, where they had 9 sacks on Carson Wentz. So,
but also Heineke is a little bit more mobile than Carson Wentz too, so he could.
Yeah, that's true too. But then you have, like I said, the Minnesota Vikings with the fourth quarter comeback had another one this week where they top off the Bills in overtime. And what is being said is the game of the year. I mean, it's like people already forgot about the Bills Chiefs part 2, I guess, where they beat the Bills 33-30 in the overtime period after Buffalo fumbled the snap at the goal line, cost them to be down 3. The Buffalo goes back down the field. They get the field goal, tie the game with under 40 seconds with no timeouts. And then you have Minnesota go get the field goal, and then Buffalo can't have Josh Allen throw another pick inside the red zone. So Buffalo, Josh Allen's 10 interceptions is leading starting quarterbacks right now. Any concerns with that, or how open is the East with Miami controlling the top right now? Oh boy, he's going full Jeopardy.
I mean, what you said about Josh Allen just now? He said he
10 interceptions right now. He has
10 interceptions.
Okay, so he had 2 interceptions last week, and I believe either 3 or 2. He had another 2 this week, so he had 4 interceptions in 2 games.
I think at the moment, the what you call it.
The Dolphins and Jets are both above the
Bills right
because
now?
they both have the head-to-head record win.
I mean, I think the Bills need to tighten things up. I think the Bills will still make the playoffs, but I do think there's some questions that need to be answered about the Dolphins and the Jets as well. While there is still some sort of consistency from the Bills. Now, yes, the loss against Miami and the Jets did hamper the Bills, but I mean they still got round 2 games to go, both in Buffalo, right?
Yeah, so they lost to Miami in Miami. And they lost to the Jets in New York. So yeah, they're both home games.
Home games.
The Bills' remaining record is, if you want, the Browns, the Lions, the Patriots, all games I think they could win. Then they have the Jets at home December 11th, Miami December 18th, then in Chicago, in Cincinnati, and then home against New England.
I mean, listen. I'll put it this way: if the Bills want to bench Josh Allen for the last game of the season, they better start playing better. Plain and simple. They cannot afford to have these kind of silly losses and silly interceptions from a quarterback like Josh Allen if they want to be taken seriously as a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I don't want to start throwing Miami and the Jets to be like front runners at the moment. When both especially Miami, have a very suspect defense. If you could outscore Miami, you could essentially you easily beat them. That's really how it is because Miami's defense is very questionable, you know. And then for the Jets, you know, they're playing with a whole lot of energy right now. I don't know if the Bills have that energy to match up with the Jets, you know. Or now knowing that the Bills are the better team, that doesn't mean that they could be playing better on the field. So it's a lot of questions you got to answer. And then, you know, with the Patriots resurgence going on, there's also that as well we have to look out for.
Well, the Patriots were on a bye this week, and their offense still looks like a deadbeat horse. Like it does not want to go. Matt Patricia running that offense isn't going to save it, but that's not something we can do anything about. But I agree with you. Buffalo have to figure some things out, and they don't have the energy right now that match teams like what Miami and New York are carrying with them in terms of swag mojo. But there's a guy still sitting out there. I don't know if Odell's going to go there. He probably ends up in Minnesota at this rate. But if he did end up in Buffalo, I think that helps out a lot because Gabe Davis has been running a couple of wrong routes, I've noticed, and he's not been having the surest hands. So if you bring in a guy like Odell into there, I think that helps out Buffalo tremendously because Stephon can't carry them every week. Like,
Yeah,
he's going to get triple teamed.
Yeah, you cannot expect Diggs to be. You just can't expect him to have
To
great
carry.
numbers every game. They need a number two, and at the moment right now, Gabe Davis has not looked like the number two guy that they expect him to be. So,
and if you look at Justin Jefferson, even they like 1 week he'll go off, and everybody will say he's a number one receiver in the league, and then 1 week he'll disappear. Like when I pull up his numbers for this last week, right? He was 10 of 16, 193, a touchdown. Week before, 7 13, 115. Back at the start of the year, he had 2 games where he won 6 of 12, 48, 3 of 6, 14. And then he picked up his game. And he's been cooking every week. But it's not like you can't do it every week. Like if I pull up Diggs numbers, you're gonna see what I mean. Where he's sitting at this week, he was 12 of 16, 128. But there was those 2 weeks earlier the year where he was 7 11 74, 4 for 6, 42. Like teams are gonna start quadruple teaming him if nobody else on the other side is gonna make a play. Which is where Buffalo has issues. And speaking of issues, you want to talk about the Aints?
yeah, we could talk about him. You could talk about him.
Yeah, to the fact Dennis Allen got outcoached by Canada.
I'll say this. You know, there's nothing I need to say about this. I think the Jameis League already tells a lot of story. Well, you know what? I mean, this is your team. I'll let you talk about your team. If you want me to chime in, I'll chime in. But in the meantime,
you chime in too. That's not gonna be any fun if I do it all because it's getting annoying with them. It's like a same broken tape recorder with me complaining about the Saints. Like the same issues show up every single week. The 1 week they look like an actual football team was the 1 week Sean Payton was in the building. I wonder if that's a coincidence or not because their game plans are terrible every week. The offense does not know what the hell it's doing. Andy Dalton refuses to throw past the markers on 3rd down, where he'd rather do a 3-yard out route that hopes then when you need 12 yards to get it. You go critical situation. You underthrow not Chris Olave, who can make a jump ball catch. You scratched Marquez Callaway, not Jarvis Landry. No, you threw it to Kevin White. Like, come on now. Like, if anything, at least overthrow him so it doesn't get picked instead of underthrowing him and letting it get picked and essentially ending the game and all your chances at it. And then your team can't stop a run for its life because it can't tackle. But you guys said you worked on practice. You worked in practice on tackling. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. But Jameis, they're saying he is a potential to might start this week. I don't know. They're going to be playing the Rams without Cooper Kupp. So who knows if that changes anything with the Rams and how their offense would look. But you got to figure something out. I think the season's already lost at this point. I doubt you win 7 straight games to even have a chance in the playoffs. So just wash your hands and try not to give the Eagles a top 5 pick.
Try
not to give them a top 5 pick. That's all they can do at this point. It's a waste of a season.
Imagine the Eagles did get that pick, that top 5 pick. What
Yeah,
would you?
Jalen Carter will look great next to Jordan Davis. You have the whole defense, the Georgia defense. N'Kobe Dean, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter.
I mean, man, I'm just imagining thinking of that. But wait, did we even talk about the Jameis thing last week? I don't think we did. It came out
No,
like
the
after.
Jameis report came out Friday night, and where they essentially threw him under the bus, where they told him when he got hurt, all right, they both agreed, okay, I'm gonna sit, I'm gonna get myself healthy, but I will get my job back when I come back, right?
Hmm.
Dennis Allen said, Jameis is healthy, guys, but we're going to go with Andy Dalton right now because he's bringing a calming presence to our locker room, and he's totally going to give us the best chance to win with our offense moving so fluidly right now. There's a good flow to the offense, and we're going to roll with Dalton for the rest of the year. Why you always lying? I'm sorry. Let's
I
talk about
saw it. I
Plant
saw
Boy
that.
Christian Watson.
I thought of that coming from a mile away. Like, I mean, the way he's been talking about Andy Dalton, like talking him sound like he's some great player or something. Like he's talking about Andy Dalton like Tom Brady or something. Changes the presence of the whole football team. Isn't that Tommy Boy's job? Not Andy Dalton. Well, since when Andy Dalton's known to be making his team better? Since when Andy Dalton is known for being good, for crying out loud? Since when people considered Andy Dalton to be better than Jameis Winston? I don't think not even Bucs fans would tell you that Andy Dalton is better than Jameis Winston. I don't even think so. But what do I know? I'm just a brown guy talking football. So what do I know? Maybe my word would not be
Three round guys talking football right now. There's three people. Me, the dude right behind me, and you.
well. Let me take it a step further. Maybe people will want to take the white man voice more seriously than mine. Who knows? I
Well, that's
mean,
probably why he's got the job anyway. They don't want to say Dennis on racist. He's 100% racist. I don't know if you could say anything else about that. He is so sketchy right now with that whole coaching situation. And then the players are like, yeah, he's doing all right. We got the right game plan. I'm like, why you got the players lying for you? Like, you're not the one who's riding the ship with the team. That's Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara trying to do it because you can't lead men. But it's just pathetic with him right now. I can't. You want to talk about Christian Watson having his
yeah,
Randy Moss impression? Plant High School alum Christian Watson, 4 catches, 108 yards, 3 TDs. Essentially, him and
against
Rodgers just cooked. They cooked and cooked better than Russell Wilson has all year.
they they cult it together. That's what happened.
Now Rodgers went back on the psychedelics.
Perhaps you never know, but we'll see.
He had the foresight to know where Christian Watson is and when he will catch the ball. Nah, I'm just
That's
messing. I don't know. But it's just woo. To the fact Dallas blew the best game CeeDee Lamb had all year. They couldn't stop him. And where did they go in the 2-minute drill in the fourth quarter when you're gonna go down the field and win? Nah, we're gonna go Michael Gallup on a jump ball with Jair Alexander, the best corner. How'd that work out for y'all, bud? Not great. And then you did go one to CD, and then Jair got away with the PI. But I'm fine with the Cowgirls losing. I really didn't care. It's just you kind of blew it with
I
CD.
was just happy that they lost because it's I always hate the Cowboys.
When the Cowboys lose, America wins. But then when Cowboys win,
It's like Tom Brady.
it's good.
When
It's
Tom
good
Brady
for the
loses,
NFL.
America wins. At least back when he was at the Patriots. Now is if the Cowboys lose, America wins. So yeah,
This feels like a topic of beating a dead horse with Justin Fields, but I've said it before. I got to say it again. The man will not win in Chicago. Like that team is just wasting his career at this point right now. I don't know if you want to say, oh, they're gonna rebuild it right around them this year in the upcoming off season.
They
Sure,
probably don't
fine,
even
they
have
do.
faith in.
But their top pick is gonna get used on defense because that's who the top players are, unless you're drafting a quarterback and replacing him. There's nobody on offense really worth the top 5 pick this year. It's Jalen Carter, Will Anderson, and the quarterbacks. There's no Evan Neal, Ikem Nakwanu, Charles Cross type tackles to help him out. What are you gonna do? I guess you can use one of your. I don't know if you have a second first round pick. You can maybe use on Bijan Robinson, but it's not gonna get pretty for you guys right now. And if you actually won games, you'd be better positioned to take JNS and with your number 1 pick instead of having to reach for him in the top 5, where you're gonna end up at this rate. But what are we gonna do about it? Let's switch it on over to college football. All right, what you want to talk about college football?
Whoa! What did happen? UCLA lost to who?
Arizona. Oh, by the way, Cooper
Not
Cup on
Arizona State.
IR.
Not Arizona State. Arizona, like.
Yep.
Oh my god. That might be one of the. That's definitely going to be one of the top losses of the season in the Pac-12, other than Washington losing to Arizona State after Herm Edwards leave. That's definitely up there. How you lose to Arizona? That school is so bad at football. It's not even funny. We're talking like UConn tier bad football, ladies and gentlemen. That one took me by surprise. I'll say that right now. It just took me straight up by surprise. What happened to Wake Forest?
They lost.
To who?
Give me a second. I have to go remember who it is. It was a low name school. One moment, please. They lost to North Carolina. Actually, it wasn't a low name school, but North Carolina is top 15 right now, so I guess you expect them to lose that game. But they fell off. Remember, Wake Forest was up there in the top 15 at one point this year.
Yeah.
And they've fallen from the graces of college football right now. They were started the year 3-0, and they lost to Clemson. Then they won 3 more games. And they've proceeded to lose 3 games to Louisville, NC State, and UNC. Albeit both NC State and UNC are both ranked. Wake Forest fell off. It really sucks to see. Drake May is him, though. 31 of 49, 448, 3 TDs. Potential top quarterback next year. He's a redshirt freshman this year, so he should be eligible next year to go into the NFL draft. So it'd be interesting to see him. I think his numbers this year have looked better than Caleb Williams. But I might be in the minority because everybody's drooling over Caleb Williams, so who knows.
Wait. Has he is this still AP top 25, or the college football committee have been dropping top 25s lately?
Give me a second. I have to look at the new rankings. I don't even know if they even dropped them tonight. Give me a second while I look that up. You talk.
So in other news, ladies and gentlemen, the Huskies took out the Ducks, and Bo Nix looked like Bo Nix of past. That's what I could say. Okay, maybe not that bad. Bo Nix of past. Bo Nix of past was way worse. And I'll tell you something, but I'll tell you this: Bo Nix did not look that great, and
they are dropped at 9 p.m. during the Champions Classic basketball games, so it's a little late tonight.
Okay, so
it'll come out after this episode finishes, unless we stay on a little extra, but I doubt it.
Like how much? A little bit extra?
It's most likely still going to be the same top 4: Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU, because all 4 of them won. Tennessee, Oregon's going to drop for sure. LSU's probably going to go to number 6.
You want to know what's funny? On the latest AP poll, Oregon is still ranked higher than Washington.
Oh yeah, that's because it hasn't updated.
No. This is AP top 25 at the moment. This is released on the 13th. That's 2 days ago, Ace.
Oh.
This is after Washington beat Oregon. And AP top 25 still has Oregon at 8-2 over Washington, who's also 8-2. So I mean, what I think is funny is, like, a team beat a team but that team that got beaten is still ranked higher than the team that just beat them. That's what I think is funny. And it's not like, SEC love or anything too, these are teams in the same conference, for crying out loud. And I don't know, but hey, look at the bright side. At least now people are going to be start saying Phoenix is better than Bo Nix. I mean, but I will address this about Washington's football. Their defense is very suspect. Very suspect. Let truth be told, their defense is very suspect.
I need to have this conversation, but I need to pull up his numbers to back this
But
up.
I'll say this right now as well. Even though they're suspect, I mean, the offense do make up for it. But
All right. Let's have a discussion. The Charles Barkley meme of
time out,
we're going to
time
start
out,
a dialogue. Oh, yeah. Continue.
time out. So I mean, Michael Penix has been playing good, but at the same time, you can't expect Michael Penix alone to carry that offense. That you guys got to step up on the defensive side as well. Otherwise, listen, if Washington had been playing better defense all this season, they probably would have been in the clear front runner of the Pac-12. Call me crazy, but they would be clear front runner of the Pac-12 with how Penix has been playing on the offensive side of things. Washington would have been by far the clear team if their defense has been much better. But back to Oregon being on top of Washington right now in the latest AP polls. That is just what the hell is going on. This is just clear favoritism at this point. That's what I just view it as. That's all.
All right. I'm going to read out the stats of a quarterback this year, and I'm going to let you try to guess the quarterback and where he would be projected to go in the NFL draft, right? 21 of 32, 303 yards, 3 touchdowns, a pick week 0 technically. Then 13 of 24, 202, one touchdown, 1 pick. And week 2 against Florida. Then you had YSU. You played YSU. I don't even know where the hell that is.
What's
Youngstown State. You went 27 of 35, 377.
Oh, that's Will Levens. You're doing Will Levens, aren't you?
Will Levis, yes. He won 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. 18 of 26, 303, 4 touchdowns, no picks. 18 of 24, 220, 2 touchdowns, no picks. 17 of 23, 230, a pick and a touchdown. Against Tennessee, 16 of 27, 98 yards and 3 interceptions, no touchdowns. Against Missouri, 13 of 19.
I think at the moment Levens would be outside. He might be.
No
he could be at best late first round or second round pick.
I ain't finished. And this week against Vanderbilt, remember Vanderbilt, 11 of 23, 109, no touchdowns and a pick.
He's overhyped.
And these people got him in the top 10 of the NFL draft. That's to show you these NFL draft experts aren't actually experts. Like, I'm in the philosophy.
They'll probably put him up there high because of they're going to be saying some sort of favoritism or something.
Type prototype of a build at quarterback.
There's no way he should be top 10.
No way he should. Okay, let me rephrase this, right? Unless you're a Josh Allen build, right, of your body.
No, it's not.
Hey, let me finish. You talked and I didn't interrupt you during Oregon and Washington.
Well, I'm just saying something. Body type, he's got to have the arm like Josh Allen, not the build. He's got to have the arm like Josh Allen.
I am not done. He did not have the prototype build of Josh Allen with the arm and the body of athleticism. And he does not have any sort of okay, maybe he's just like a real young player and he has a lot of room. No, this dude is a senior. He's 6'3", 232, and he's not rushing for anything. Like, he has had negative yards almost really every game. He has 2 rushing touchdowns on the year. His longest run was 24 yards. Not like he's an athletic quarterback or anything. I don't know where this top 10 prospect hype is coming from. Like, look at Trevor Lawrence. He at least produced big numbers in college. Justin Fields didn't even go top 10, and he had better numbers than this. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes went top 10, but he had better numbers than this. Like, guys who've been producing in the NFL, like, they had good numbers who went in the top 10. Like, Zach Wilson went in the top 10. He did not put up, gaudy numbers at BYU. He just had one insane throw at his pro day, and he went top 2. Trey Lance didn't have gaudy numbers, but he had the Josh Allen build, but he hasn't been healthy enough to prove it. Uh, who went top? No quarterbacks won last year in the top 10. I already talked about the ones who won in 21. Joe Burrow produced at LSU. Justin Herbert produced at Oregon, and he was a freak athlete. Tua produced at Alabama. Like, guys who go top 10 have to produce in college. Like, this man is not producing in college. He's tied 47th in this college FBS for touchdowns, and he's tied 71st for yards. Like, I don't see it.
He's just there. I think he doesn't belong in that conversation at the moment. Not with how Kentucky looks. Not with how he's been playing. No, I mean, and you know, Kentucky, we all had higher expectations for them, and now they go back to losing the freaking Vanderbilt of all teams. So
At least Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud and Hendon Hooker. Well, not Hendon Hooker will go top 10, but like Young and Stroud, they're producing big numbers in college ranks to show that. And then they also are athletic guys who are making things happen. Like, what, Levis ain't doing that, and yet somehow, what was his name? That idiot who was at ESPN, not Mel Kiper, said how he's gonna go over Bryce Young. Nah. Going into the rest of the stuff for college football, Georgia still handling their stuff. They beat, I want to say Mississippi State. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on who the hell they played. My apologies. Yeah, Mississippi State. I was right. FSU knocked out Syracuse 38-3. That's going to be fun. I get for the Gators to deal with that. TCU handled business against Texas. And UCF taking the top of the AAC against Tulsa. What do you think about that game? 38-31.
At the moment, I think it's UCF running away with the AAC at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
They're running away with it.
Somebody said Bryce Young and Jameson Williams are reuniting and will save Detroit sports. That's not a bad idea. But Detroit's winning too many games to get number one. Bryce Young will end up in Houston, throwing it to a Michigan guy and Nico Collins, and that's it. Oh boy. Utah Oregon is the only good game this week. Next week we'll have all the fun with college football, you know.
Well, yeah, it's rivalry week.
Yeah,
it's rival week next week.
Michigan, Ohio State, FSU, Florida, to name a few. That's where the real fun begins. Going now over to Baby Groot Thanos and NBA NHL stuff. Brittany Griner gone to Russian penal colony for hard labor. They don't know where exactly she went, so hopefully she's there. Thoughts and prayers to her over there. I guess. What about get into these standings right now? I guess I gotta pull them up because sometimes when I make these scripts, the games I finish late, so the standings change a bit. The Boston Celtics are 11-3 on a 7-game win streak on top of the Eastern Conference. So, safe to say our predictions with the Celtics this year were wrong, especially coming with the new head coach. They've been killing it, so props to them. Milwaukee Bucks are second.
This just shows how good the front office of Boston is right now.
Brad Stevens is doing a pretty good job. I got to give him credit.
Well, let's not say it's Brad Stevens yet. It's other people in the front office too besides
That's
Brad
true.
Stevens.
The guys who run basketball operations and stuff like that. Shout out to you guys. Atlanta Hawks are third at 9-5. Cleveland Cavaliers 8-5. Wizards 8-6, sitting in the 5 seed right now in the Eastern Conference. The Raptors 8-7. Scotty Barnes getting hated like hell in Toronto. They hate him right now. Philly 76ers are at 7-7 at the 7th seed. Tyrese Halliburton led Pacers 6-6 at the 8th seed. Miami Heat 7-7, number 9. Knicks 6-7, sitting at the edge of the play-in. The Bulls, Nets, Magic, Hornets, and Pistons are all outside in the lottery. Any shockers in the Eastern Conference, Flash?
No, not at all. You know, I mean,
yeah. What about the Wizards at the 5 seed? Aren't you like a Wizards guy?
Well,
and Bradley Beal's been out like the last week and a half in COVID protocols.
I mean, you know, it just shows that the Wizards has found their steps. You know, I think there's other surprises to be surprised about in the NBA, like, you know, the Warriors struggling. I think that's more of a surprise than the Wizards being good.
Honestly,
But
when we get to the Western Conference, we'll talk about the biggest surprise, and it's not the Warriors, but
is it the Lakers? Because
nope, not
don't
the
say the
Lakers
Lakers.
either.
Okay,
Not the
good.
Lakers. But all right, good.
I'm gonna refrain from
Two
Lakers talk today.
surprises in the West, actually. Starting with number one, the Portland Trail Blazers,
They're
nine and
number
four,
one.
number one in the West. Denver Nuggets, nine
Well,
and
I'll
four, number two.
let's take. Okay, go on, and I'll say what I want to say.
Utah Jazz 10-5 at 3, Memphis 9-5, Phoenix 8-5, Dallas 7-5, Clippers 8-6, and Pelicans 7-6. None of those are the shockers for me. The Kings are at 6-6 at 9, Warriors are 10, but my surprise is the Minnesota Timberwolves this close to blowing it up. I think they are very close to blowing it up. The Rudy Gobert trade blew up in their face.
I agree. I don't think Rudy Gobert
He made that team worse, and they genuinely do not like to play with each other. It feels like Cat and Ant don't like each other. It's like maybe Jimmy Butler was right about Cat, because Wiggins has been doing all right in Golden State. It's just been Cat's personality hasn't been working with him, even with D'Lo there.
Hey, maybe catchers have some Popeyes. Maybe his soul's a
I
little
think that's
hurt.
the whole issue.
So
He didn't enjoy the
he needs to
Popeyes
enjoy some
sandwich.
Popeyes. He
He
needs some
needs some fun
Popeyes
in
chicken
his life.
sandwich. That's what's going on. He needs some Popeyes right now. Because listen, I think Ant is having fun and he's the only one playing good. And guess what? He be eating Popeyes like, I think Cat might have been cursed with the Jordan Williams curse. I think that's what it is. He might be like a Kardashian.
Well, Wiggins shooting
May,
18 points.
I'm gonna make some sense for you. All right, I'll make some dumb sense for you. Tristan Thompson cheated on Khloe Kardashian with Jordan Williams. That's how the Kardashian curse get passed to Cat now, just like that. It makes sense. Maybe because he's actually dating her. She could be acting like a black Kardashian. You never know. I mean, now Karl Anthony Towns feel like he has the power to say whatever he wants after getting to Supermax and dating Jordan Williams, and now it might look like Anthony Edwards might be the best guy in Minnesota. Who knows?
I think I might have to clip this piece here.
Do you have the funny sound noise, or you don't have the soundboard?
Yeah, give me a second. I gotta pull it up. All right, which one you want?
The boing one. He's like, is this me okay or?
No, not that one.
The bouncing.
This one.
That one too. Him a little bit. Yeah, you're right. I am insulting him a little bit. He think he is a hot shit when he ain't the shit. He only did good in the 3-point contest, and now everyone thinks he's like a god now. And now that was in his head, and now guess what? Just look at him right now. He thought he was a shit, and now he's just looking like he's as hot trash right now. I think we might have to start taking notes on who might be the trash player in the NBA.
I don't know why the intro music started playing there, but
I mean, what do I know? I mean, listen, I think that Anthony Edwards might be that guy, and it's not Karl Anthony Towns. I think because how old Karl Anthony Towns has been in the league for 5 years. You would expect way more.
No, he's been in the league for 7 years. He's gonna be 8 this year. He got drafted in 2015. What deal? I remember.
What deal? Well, I mean, guess what? Let me be the bearer of bad news, Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah, you ain't acting like that guy right now. I think Anthony Edwards is better than you, and he's only in his 3rd year. While you're in, this is what, your 7th year in the league. Make it make sense. I mean, I don't think he had no business telling Anthony Edwards what to eat. Let the man eat his Popeyes and win the damn games, and just sit out of his way. Plain and simple. You're nothing more than a role player like Rudy Gobert at this rate. Now, that being said, Rudy Gobert was always been a terrible fit in Minnesota. Always has been, always will be. It takes away from their spacing. So, what do I know? And he ain't that good at defense either. He's too easy to expose on defense. If you want my honest opinion, he's just
And that
overrated.
contract, $56 million. Woof.
The Jazz
A
won the
year.
trade. The Jazz won that trade.
And Jets are still better than them. And they shipped off Gobert. Oh boy, I don't know what you can do about that. The Lakers 3-0 without LeBron. Any correlation to that, or that's just coincidence?
Without LeBron or with LeBron?
Without.
What's the record again? I thought LeBron is healthy, or he didn't play the last few games. I've been out of it.
Mm-mm. Give me a second, I'll pull it up. When the last time the
Well,
Lakers played? Yesterday? No,
I'm
they played
gonna
today.
I'm gonna avoid my Lakers
No,
fans,
they played
but
yesterday.
I'll say this: LeBron James does massively slow down their offense. You really do. Whenever he plays, and you know what, LeBron fans are gonna hate me, but it's the truth. LeBron just plays way too much. He iso balls way too much, and like that does not give your guys opportunity to play better. That does not get opportunities for your teammates to make the cuts
No,
and
they're
potentially make.
3-0 without LeBron. Where the hell did I say that? They lost to the Kings and the Clippers before that.
What's the
No,
record?
they lost with the They lost against the Clippers with LeBron. They lost to the Kings, so they're 1-1. Did they beat the Pelicans without Brian? No. Who knows? That's a dumb thing. Never mind with that. But
But there's also other problems
my
that needs to be.
apologies.
Well, listen, look, you could still argue that LeBron is still playing iso ball way too much, but at the same time, like at least give your guys room to screen or make their cuts and stuff. That's just what I'm saying when it comes to LeBron James.
Your
So,
boy Westbrook been playing better
well,
as of late.
he's only playing better because they're actually using how Russell Westbrook is being used. It's not nothing with him coming off the bench. He's actually being played as how he is supposed to be utilized ever since they put him on the bench. So, it is what it is. A lot of people still agree
Averaging
that,
16, 7, and 5.
and he's not even doing like 30 minutes. He's doing like 20 something minutes a game.
He's averaging 29. Just under.
Hey, but I guess I can't be mad or at fault of that. He's being more rested. He's getting healthier. Making his trade value go up should the Lakers do decide to trade him, and he could probably get his buyout with somewhere else. So listen, it's working out, but I don't know. I cannot make judgments about the Lakers at this moment. I'm going to give them some time and see what happens in the future. So, but it's good to see Russell Westbrook doing much better in the league. That's all I gotta say. I don't want to rant about LeBron too much.
Jaren Jackson Jr. made his debut back for the Grizzlies this week, or today, I should say, after missing most of all year so far with his injuries. So Memphis getting some health back in the team right now. They are, I think, up right now. Let me check that back. Last I checked, they were up. They're up 60-59 on the Pelicans. Ja's got 24 at halftime. He's just like doing Ja things right now. Brandon Ingram's got 13. Zion's out, so that's something to keep an eye out. He didn't play tonight. Time to pivot on over to the hockey talk. All right, let's get into this once I pull it up. So we have the Lightning tied 3-3 right now on the Stars, so you gotta keep an eye on that. The New Jersey Devils. I told y'all pre-season, I told y'all keep an eye on these Devils. They're young, they're fast, and they got some talent on that squad. They've won 9 straight. They are sitting atop the Metropolitan right now, 12-3. New York Islanders are 11-6. Carolina Hurricanes 10-5, and the New York Rangers at 8-6 to round out the top of the Metropolitan. In the Atlantic, you got the Boston Bruins at 14-2. Linus Ullmark's 11-1 as a starter right now. So you got the Toronto Maple Leafs at 8-5, sitting at number 2 seed. The Lightning 8-6-1, and the Florida Panthers are the 4 seed. The Winnipeg Jets are atop Central at 9-4, Stars 9-5-1, Avalanche 8-5-1, and Minnesota Wild round out the Central. And in the Pacific, you got the Golden Knights at 13-3, then the Kings, Kraken, and Oilers. So we gotta give the shout out to the Devils. They're playing really well right now, and I said, keep an eye out for them. They're not disappointing to say the least. So shout out them. Um, an interesting thing that happened Sunday was so the Lightning played the Capitals on Friday and they lost 4-1, right? And you saw guys like Sergachev and Charnak both take pucks from one timers from Ovechkin late in that game and both left. Well, Sergachev came back Sunday, right? Yeah, they got 4 goals in the first period before the Capitals ever got a single shot on goal. And Mikhail Sergachev's 4 points were the first by a defenseman in a period since Morgan Rielly did in 2018. So that's some cool stuff. You don't see many defensemen getting 4 points in a period like that. So shout out him. But yeah, there's not much else to talk about for hockey. I mean, you got Jake Ottinger made his return, but he's not having a great game.
Are the Capitals actually good this year or no? That
was the Capitals are like just hanging in there. They got their issues. They're very hurt right now. Most of their forwards are injured. Connor Brown, TJ Oshie, Tom Wilson.
And we got slapped by those Capitals. Nice.
Yeah, they lost to the Capitals. Give me a second. Ow. I gotta pull it back up. I lost it. My apologies. Yeah, so they lost. Actually, it was 5-1, not 4-1. That's right. They had a late goal to put them up 5-1. So the Capitals are. Gosh, I just had it. Give me a second. They're 6th seed right now. They're 7-8, but they got a bunch of injuries right now, so they've been up and down on that team.
Well, good to know on that. I mean, but as I predicted, Lightning are going to cruise until
they'll figure it out when they need to.
Yeah, I'm not sweating. I mean, let the Lightning haters hate you want, but right now you have to treat the Tampa Bay Lightning like they're the Golden State Warriors. They're going to cruise and then until the playoff hits, and then they turn it on. That's what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm going to continue believing until I see otherwise.
And an interesting thing here is the Pacific, right? The 2 of the top 3 teams in the Pacific are both the expansion teams, and the Knights and the Kraken. So I'm just throwing that out there. That'd be kind of a fun first round playoff series if it holds between the 2 of them. But the Kraken would have to drop down a seed to play the Knights in the first round at this rate. But good on the Kraken to be 8-5-3. You're not much expectations in year 2, considering how the route they did in their building of that team. They didn't do like how Golden Knights did, where they traded all their picks and brought in immediate impact players. They took a slower route. They drafted some guys that can help them out right now, but they also in the expansion draft they drafted guys to help them, like 3 of them who would help them out right now, but they did mostly AHL low contract guys and some expiring deals who they later traded for picks. And then they drafted on those picks, and you're seeing a guy like Matty Benier make a big impact for them in their games. So, just saying, they've been better as of late. So, good on the Kraken. Anything else you want to know about in hockey?
There's nothing that catches my eye at the moment, to be honest.
The Avalanche, I think they're in the same boat as the Lightning. They're going to cruise until the playoffs. They are having a bit of a Stanley Cup hangover due to injuries. They got both Gabriel.
Did they lose some guys as well? Didn't they lose some guys? Didn't they lose?
Yeah, Landeskog's out a couple of months, and Valery Nichushkin is out for a month. So
no, I'm talking about from last year's team. Like didn't they lose?
Oh yeah, Kadri went to Calgary, and a couple of guys went to either San Jose or Washington. I think Washington has 2 of them. So, yeah, they got both Kemper and.
Are they like core guys? Are they like core guys or
the goalie? went to Washington, but
Okay,
only core
that's
guy that actually left that team was Nazem Kadri, who scored that big goal for them in the Stanley Cup playoffs. He's the only major guy they actually lost, but they also drafted. They had a guy who was ready to come in.
Are we doing hot
So
topics tonight or no? I didn't see anything.
if you want, I mean, unless you want to talk about your 0-10 fantasy team.
Nah, I'm not gonna talk about that.
I mean, there
It's
is one thing in hot topics I really want to talk about. So so they're having the XFL draft, and the St. Louis Blackhawks, not Blackhawks, Battlehawks, not Blackhawks, drafted AJ McCarron to be their franchise quarterback. And it took me back to when that NFL trade deadline a couple of years ago, where the Cleveland Browns had made a trade with the Bengals to trade for him so he would be their franchise guy. And then they failed to call the league office before 4 o'clock, and they had to trade revert him back to Cincinnati because it got nulled. And I don't know why I thought about this, but it was hilarious as hell when I saw AJ McCarron show back up in the XFL. So
should I start? Should I start Kadarius Toney?
yes, if McCole Hardman's out again, yeah. Even if Juju's probably gonna be out, yeah, I'd still start him.
I mean, they should start using him more, in my humble opinion. Who should I bench, Pickens or Harris?
Alec
Between
Pierce. Even
nah,
though Matt Ryan is back, I would pick up Paris Campbell and start him over Alec Pierce.
well, I mean, I already got Jacoby Myers starting.
Your team. Well, let me see your team again. This team is. My team has scored the most points in that league and has also allowed the most points in that league. Oh boy. God, this team sucks. Start Lamar against Carolina. I wouldn't touch Herbert in fantasy until Keenan Allen and Mike Williams play because he can't carry that squad by himself. Some guys I'd look to pick up are Christian Watson, Paris Campbell, Treylon Burks, Rashad White for next week. That's about it. I mean, you got Isaiah Pacheco, but that team, I don't like Kansas City's backfield because Jerick McKinnon's third down playing is just drives me up a wall sometimes. So I don't bother with him too much. But what I thought was interesting was when Washington had the lead and they were trying to run out the clock, they didn't use Brian Robinson to run out that game. Well, on the critical downs, it was Antonio Gibson when they needed him. I just thought that was funny as hell. Because Gibson has looked like the better back. They just don't use him a whole lot for some reason. And they said the issues were fumbling, but he has 0 fumbles this year. So, I don't know.
There might be favoritism in organizations. That might be what it is.
I mean, we didn't talk about the roughing the passer call, but to be celebrating a roughing the passer call like that from Heineke, that's just not a good look for a franchise that has the amount of issues they have in the backfield. Behind the scenes, I should say.
What's wrong with Heineke celebrating a roughing the passer call?
I mean, if you're gonna take a hit like that, you shouldn't be so happy about it.
Oh no, he's just happy like, hey, you did something stupid. I'm gonna celebrate it. You gave me free yards. Free yards is free yards. If it's for free, it's for me. That's what Mr. Heineke said.
All right. You got anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
It's a slow week of sports. I'll be completely honest with you.
There's no big games this week, man. Like week 11 in NFL is just garbage. Week 12 of college football is horrible. Ain't much to talk about. We ain't had no guests. JP had nothing in the comment section. Was dead tonight. I don't know where the people are for the comment section.
You gotta start telling people. You gotta start telling people from the Running Gun Show to come on here and comment some stuff, especially if I say something crazy. Like do I have to turn to Skip Bayless and say some insane shit for me to get some attention now? Is that what I gotta do? I gotta turn to Skippy B. Maybe I should start hating on people more. Maybe I'll start hating on LeBron and see what happens. Maybe I'll do that.
Oh, one question before we head out.
No,
No. Why are you hating on Tua?
that's not hate. It's facts. I don't think he is my MVP.
Who's your MVP?
It's still Lamar. I'm kidding. It's
Tua's
not Lamar.
got 71% completion rate, 18 TDs, and I want
I could
this.
I could argue Geno Smith has a bigger MVP impact than Tua.
Hey, Miami's won. Let me pull it up now. Now you got me wanting to pull this up. I don't know why I'm gonna pull this up, but I'm gonna pull it up. Of the record with Tua as the quarterback compared to anybody else on Miami's team. Albeit if Seattle probably had not Geno, Drew Lock starting. I don't know where they'd be, but the Dolphins have been beating everybody when they have Tua. So, all right, Miami's schedule. Let's see. They beat the Patriots, beat your Lamar Ravens, with Tua having 7 TDs that game. So don't forget that. Not 7, 6 TDs. 6 TDs, 2 picks. They beat the Bills, so he's over Josh Allen there. He got hurt against the Bengals. Did not play against the Jets. Did not play against the Vikings. All 3 games they lost. Beat the Steelers, beat the Lions. Those aren't really good wins. Beat the Bears, surviving Justin Fields going for 4 TDs. And then
It
you beat the Browns.
sounds like you can make a Philadelphia Eagles fraud argument with the Dolphins. That's what it sounds like you could do with what you just said. He
I
said,
don't get it.
"Man, not so great ones with the Lions. They barely escaped Justin Fields. Barely escaped this guy. I mean, it's like, come on, you just made it sound like
No, I'm just saying they didn't. That's true too. You want to do that Eagles fake thing? All right, give me a second. Let me pull up the Eagles schedule. They beat the Lions. The Lions beat the Vikings. That game was a good win. Beat the Commanders. Great performance. You beat the Jags. It's the Jags in a terrible weather game. Beat the Cardinals. Cardinals ain't too hot this year. Beat the Cowboys. Good win.
Wait,
Beat the
hold on.
Steelers.
Wait, time out. Beat the Cowboys. Is that Cooper Rush Cowboys or that's Dak Prescott Cowboys?
Starts with a C.
The same guy that Skip Bayless like, oh yeah, you beat our backup quarterback. You guys are frauds.
And then he's like, I miss Cooper. Well, Cooper Rush, not Cooper. Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper is the most strangest wide receiver in fantasy football this year. You can only start him when he plays in Cleveland. If he plays on the road, he is garbage. But when he plays at home, he's a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy. I don't understand it, but that's just how it is. But with that being said, make sure like, share, subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. That's gonna do it for us for tonight. For episode 12, nice and quiet episode of the Dolphins celebrating like it's 1972. I don't have any 1972 type clothing to wear, so I can't dress like it, but that's what it is. Nice quiet episode. Next week we'll do season finale. Might see if we pull a guest last minute for it. I don't know what we'll do with
Next
that.
week is our season finale. I thought it was a week after.
No, we only have 13 episodes. Run and Gun lasted an extra week because the Florida Classic was a week later. The season started a week earlier against UNC, so
But we end 2
started
weeks
early.
from now, right?
Huh?
We end in 2 weeks, correct?
Next week.
But next week is not December. I thought you said we finished in December first.
I thought it was December, but then I looked at it wrong. It's this week. It's the last week in November, not first week of December.
Can we change it the first week? Can we change it the first week of December? We have to comment on the rivalry games, Ace. Come on.
Okay, fine. We'll talk to JP. See what if we might be able to pull in a week episode 14. We don't know.
I think we should because it's rivalry week. That would make that it's the heart of sports. Rivalry weeks is the heart of all sports.
Well, next week we're gonna preview it.
Yeah, we're previewing it, but you have to talk about the results, man. Like the heart of competitiveness and rivalries is the heart of everything of what sports is all about, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, pass. You're Pastor Flash. That's gonna do it for us for episode 12 tonight. Thanks so much, guys. Be a friend, tell a friend. If you guys weren't in the comment section, oh wow, join tomorrow for the season finale of the Running Gun. We're gonna preview the Florida Classic and all the goodies that go on in HBCU, NFL, NCAA, and Hot Topics, where we're gonna discuss Thanksgiving stuff. Maybe. Who knows? You have to tune in tomorrow to find out.
We should have Stank on for Thanksgiving Classic instead. He'll tell us on everything. How to bake food. The mac and cheese, $100 mac and cheese.
Oh Lord, I think you have an obsession. All right, thank you guys. See y'all next week.
Be a friend. Tell a friend. Like, share, subscribe. Yeah, that's all you got.
That's gonna do it for us. See ya next week.